Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Living on Insulin. Thank you guys so much for coming back for another video. I hope they all enjoyed this video. I decided to do this video just to kind of explain what ketones are, why they are so dangerous, how diabetics can get them, just stuff like that. Just gonna inform you guys on ketones for you people who don't know what they are. For people who do know what they are, you'll get a little more educated on this, because even like for me being a diabetic, I've been a diabetic for 16 and a half years, but I never knew like everything about it. I just always said, well, it's like too much sugar in your bloodstream, spills into your urine and attacks your kidneys, and it's like just really dangerous. But that's pretty much how I would explain it to people, but I don't think that's like entirely the whole thing. So I'm just going to read off of this website. I will link the website down below so that you can go read it in your own time if you want to. It is diabetes.org.uk, and that is the website that I got it off of. So yeah, let's just go ahead and jump into this, and I will just tell y'all about ketones and just the thing that honestly could kill a type 1 diabetic. So let's go. Okay, so the first question you may ask is, what are ketones? Ketones are a type of chemical that your liver produces when it breaks down fats. Your body uses ketones for energy, typically during fasting, long periods of exercise, or when you don't have as many carbohydrates. You can have low levels of ketones in your blood without it being a problem, but high levels of ketones in your blood is a sign that something isn't quite right. You can tell if you have high levels of ketones in your blood by checking for them. Your doctor should give you an idea of what your target range is and what to do if you go above it. For me, my target range is to have no ketones at all. So if I go above and have the smallest amount that you can have is trace, and then small is next. And as soon as I hit those, then I'm drinking a lot of water, maybe giving myself a little bit extra insulin than I normally would, just because we don't want me to have any ketones. If you treat your diabetes with insulin, your body should be using the insulin you give it to change blood sugar into energy. But if you don't have enough insulin, you'll start to use fat for energy. And when you use fat for energy, your liver starts to produce ketones. When ketones build up in the blood, they can become acidic and lead to something called diabetic ketoacidosis, or DKA. This can be life-threatening, so you need to know what the symptoms of DKA are and how to check for them and how to get treatment straight away. If you have type 1 diabetes, you're more at risk of experiencing DKA than people with other types of diabetes. But if you have type 2 and use insulin, then you should look out for the signs of DKA also. DKA is also common in people who have not yet been diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, especially children. So, if you're a parent and you don't know much about diabetes, then this is good for you to know as well. You can also share this info with anyone who looks after your child, such as their teacher. When do ketones build up? You're most at risk of a buildup of ketones if you don't inject enough insulin or if you miss a dose of insulin. It's important to know that sometimes you need more insulin than usual and need to check for high blood sugars more regularly, like when you're not feeling well, you have had an injury or surgery, you're pregnant, or for you girls when it's that time of the month. All of these times are just a part of normal life, and that can be a reminder that diabetes is always there in the background. Ketone symptoms. You should do what you can to stop ketones from building up in the body. Noticing when your body is starting to produce ketones is an important step. You should check for ketones in your blood or urine if you notice the following. Breath that smells fruity. This is the ketones on your breath. Last year, I was real sick for 3 months. I haven't done a video about this. I need to do a video about this. But I was at church and had to be carried out. And there was like a guy in our church that was a paramedic. And, okay, sorry, I got a phone call. Anyway, so there was a guy in our church that was a paramedic and a guy in our church that was a dentist. And they had both come out and both said that they smelled ketones on my breath, and we went to the hospital, and here I was in large ketones and had to have 2 bags of fluids and stuff. So I have always thought that that was really strange that you can smell the ketones on the breath, but you can. High blood sugar levels. This is called hyper, not hypo. So if you're hypoglycemic, it's opposite, it's hyper. Going to the bathroom a lot. Being really thirsty all the time. Feeling more tired than usual. Stomach pain. Changes in your breathing, usually deeper. Confusion. Fainting. Feeling or being sick. So those are all the ketone symptoms. You might notice these symptoms over 24 hours, but they can come on faster than that. If you do notice symptoms of high ketones, or if you're a parent and you see the signs in your child, you need to act quickly. Ketone levels rising are a sign of things happening in the body that can be made better. Noticing the symptoms is the first step to doing that. Next, you need to check for ketones and seek medical help if this is high. What to do if you have high ketone levels? Normal blood ketone levels can be different from person to person. If the ketone levels in your blood are high, you're at risk of DKA. If you suspect DKA, go to your nearest accident and emergency department straight away because you'll need hospital treatment. If you're not sure whether you need to go to the hospital, call your GP or diabetes team as soon as you can. Ketones and weight loss. Ketones are produced when your body breaks down fat. This means that you might also notice weight loss when you have high levels of ketones. And I did lose a lot of weight. Well, not a lot, I don't want to say a lot, but I did lose weight when I had ketones, because I ran ketones, small ketones for 5 days maybe, and then large ketones for 2 days. So my body was breaking down a lot of fat. Okay, so this is an article that I found from health.usnews.com/condition/diabetes/diabetic ketoacidosis. I'll link it down below so that you can go read it. But this one, the last one, did not explain what the dangers of DKA are, and this one kind of does a little bit more. And so I'm going to read this to you so that you can see why it is so dangerous. DKA is highly dangerous for children, says Dr. Arletta Ruers, an associate professor of pediatrics emergency medicine at the University of Colorado School of Medicine and a physician at Children's Hospital Colorado. About 50% of kids who have DKA are admitted to the ICU. She says they require very extensive treatment with fluids and insulin. 2 basic scenarios bring children to the hospital, says Ruers, a contributor to the updated publication Diabetes in America from the National Institute of Diabetes and Digestive and Kidney Diseases. The first is kids who are developing diabetes but aren't yet diagnosed, who suddenly begin showing symptoms. In kids known to have diabetes, missed insulin treatments or brewing infections can predispose them to developing DKA. Also, kids on insulin pumps can have DKA, Ruers said. Sometimes there is a malfunction and it's not recognized early enough. Complications extend beyond the crisis. DKA also has long-term consequences, Ruers says. It changes brain development and brain functioning for a long time. Kids who had DKA can show memory and learning problems going on for several years. Once diabetes is diagnosed, DKA wipes out remaining insulin-producing beta cells in the pancreas. Ruers says, thus reducing any honeymoon period and increasing kids' lifelong struggle with glucose control. It leaves a permanent mark on the child. Up to 1% of kids who come to the hospital with DKA may develop cerebral edema. Up to 1% of kids who come to the hospital with DKA may develop cerebral edema, or swelling in the brain. That's easier to say. We'll just say swelling in the brain. Ruers notes, cerebral swelling can be fatal or leave the child with catastrophic health consequences. Working closely with your endocrinologist, diabetes educator, dietitian, and primary care provider will help you stay in control of diabetes and prevent DKA. Monitoring blood glucose is the most proactive way to prevent DKA. So yeah, that is pretty much it, and there's just so many consequences to DKA, one of the main ones being that brain damage. And just recently I have heard of a kid, my mom is part of this Facebook group for parents of type 1 diabetics, and there was this teenage boy who didn't really care about taking care of himself and went into DKA and had a bunch of like blood pockets on his brain and had to have multiple surgeries on his brain, and like they thought he was going to be brain dead and stuff, and it was like just really sad, and it was all because he went into DKA. Because we keep such a close eye on my blood sugar and try to maintain it so well, I have actually never gone into DKA except for when I was diagnosed at 10 months old. That's just how, we are. We try to go to the hospital, not as, as soon as we see signs of ketones, we don't run to the hospital, but if we can tell that it's not getting under control or something like that, then we'll go get some fluids, because if not, it is so dangerous. So those are just some of the signs, and just so that you guys can be a little bit more informed on what ketones are and what they do to your body and stuff. And really that's only for type 1s, and it can happen to type 2s, but it's a little bit more rare. So anyway, I hope that y'all enjoyed this video and that it was informative for you. I want y'all to drop a comment down below telling me what videos y'all want to see. And fall is coming, Christmas is coming. I am so excited. If there's any specific videos during fall and Christmas time that you want, let me know so that I can start planning now. I want to do some challenge videos in the future and just elevate the YouTube channel a little bit more. I'm really excited. I have a lot of ideas brewing, but if they'll actually happen, I don't know. So anyway, just drop a comment down below letting me know what kind of videos you want to see from me, and more educational videos like this one maybe. If you have a question about like what a certain thing that I talk about a lot that you don't know what it is, leave that down below and I will try to explain that to the best of my ability. And I hope that y'all have a wonderful week, and I will see you next week. Bye!